we're heading to Cravendale, a 450-hectare sheep and beef farm in the foothills of mid-Canterbury near Mount Somers. Cosmo Kentish Barnes is out on the property with Anna and Mitch Munro.
It's the worst toilet in the world.
Yeah, we're just passing the outdoor dunny behind the shearing shed.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. We've done the kitchen up in the wool shed, and I guess the toilet might be the next on the agenda. Poor shearers, I'm sorry.
Going to be pretty desperate.
Mitch, can you tell me where we're heading to?
Well, we're just heading out down the lane, and we're going to do a wee job of shifting some two-tooths onto kale. We're just starting to transition them over to a new feed.
And we can see some cattle there?
Yep, so those are the heifers that have scanned dry, and at the moment we're thinking that we might just carry those on the farm just to fatten them up a wee bit. And the ewes in there, the composite Romney ewes, and those ones we just drafted off yesterday that they're a bit daggy, so we just brought them a bit closer to the shed, and we'll start crutching them maybe this afternoon or maybe just over the next few days.
And the mating rams will be going out with the ewes in a few weeks' time?
Yeah. So usually we use Anzac Day as a bit of a benchmark for when our ram goes out, and so we've got terminal rams and then we've got our maternal rams. Our maternal rams are Romney and Coopworth Texel, and then the terminals are Beltex Texel and Suffolk Beltex crosses.
For our listeners who aren't familiar with those terms, what's the difference between maternal and terminal?
Well, so the maternal will keep replacements out of those lambs. They are bred for fertility, for good mothering, for wool, maybe to a lesser extent now, and for meat. And then the terminal rams, they go over our, what would you say, like second tier ewes that have less desirable characteristics or maybe a bit lighter in condition, things like that, and they are for meat. They will produce a meaty lamb with high growth rate. Get this gate.
Now we've just driven through a nice little creek. Is that flowing all year round?
At the sort of bottom of the farm, it basically always runs. It flows through a couple of wetlands, and that's called the Gawler Stream. And yeah, so it just sort of meanders way through. It's quite sort of slow moving.
Yep.
And pooly. Yeah.
Are there any eels or fish in it?
Yep. There's like galaxids and eels, cockabillies, that type of thing. Actually, there's quite a few freshwater mussels too.
Really?
Yeah, so you often see the shells on the banks.
Oh, we can see the mob of sheep that you're going to be moving.
Yep, we're really happy with how they look. They're mostly pretty clean and in good condition too, so you can't ask for too much more than that.
Now in the back, Anna is with Charlie. How old's Charlie, Anna?
Charlie Jock is a year and 3/4. He's got a face full of raisins and yogurt, so he's happy.
Did having a child change your approach to farm life?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I guess we came home 2 years ago, so we've just gone 2 years on the farm, and at that point I was just going into my last trimester of pregnancy, and the plan had been that I would be the sort of main farmer because I had the farming background, and Mitch was working as a full-time builder in Wanaka. We were based down in Hawea, and then when I got pregnant we realised that wasn't going to work, so yeah, came home. Mitch sort of had 3 months to try and get up to speed as best he could, and then I had Charlie and was very much out of action for a couple of weeks, But then pretty soon after that was back out on the farm with him. I had him in a wee front pack, Moby wrap, and then he would sleep in the cot in the truck, because basically everything that we came to in the farming calendar was being experienced for the first time by Mitch. So I guess I was trying to help him learn, and we had lots of support from neighbours and family, which was awesome. But in some ways in those early days it was slightly easier having Charlie on the farm, whereas now he's into everything.
When I turned up this morning, he climbed onto the kitchen table.
Yes, he's quite a good climber, and when we're in the sheep yards he started opening all the little gates and climbing up the rails, and you do have to keep one eye on him and then one eye on the sheep if you're drafting, and it's quite a lot at times. Later.
Were you brought up on this farm?
Yes, so when I was born we lived down on the flats in Carew, so about half an hour from here, just south of Mayfield, and then Mum and Dad sold the place there and bought up here in 1995. And yeah, I'm one of 4 kids, I'm the eldest of 4, and we all kind of grew up with farm life. And then Mum and Dad were farming it on their own for quite a while, and then they leased the farm out about 15 years, to a local family. They were here for 8 years, and then my sisters came back and leased the farm in a partnership for another 3 years. And then one of them was getting married and moving to the farm that her husband was on, so they finished up the partnership, and that's when we had the opportunity to come back. And I don't know, we talked about it for quite a while. We were probably pretty nervous. Well, I was definitely nervous about that. At the time I was working half the week as a shepherd in Terrace and then half the week as a physio. I'm trained as a physio. So it was going to be a bit of trial by fire, and Mitch was building. But we also thought, hey, when do you ever get a chance like that? So we better have a crack. That first year was full on. It was really intense with Charlie. Mental health wise, I probably wasn't in the best place. It was so much. Just having a baby, your first baby, shock to the system, no sleep, and then having to run a farm, and Mitch is trying to manage things on not much experience, but all credit to him, he has picked it up amazingly well, and this year's it feels a lot smoother.
Yep. And Mitch, your farm dogs are in the back of the truck. Are they going to round up the sheep?
Yeah, I'll need to open this gate here onto the kale paddock here, and then I'll get my heading dog to head this mob back towards us.
Mitch, what were some of the more difficult things you had to get your head around when you became a farmer?
I suppose just working with stock, not having that experience, so I had to come to terms with that and work out how they move and where not to be and where to be and all those things. And then a lot of it was just sort of down to like even how much to graze a paddock and how to judge how much feed you've got, do a feed budget and things like that. And we were lucky that one of the guys that had previously leased the farm had helped us in sort of mentoring us a wee bit, and it just all gets you to a point where you can sort of have a better idea of which direction you're going in.
And I guess, as in most cases, the best way to learn is just by doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And like, if you're going to fail, just fail quickly and then learn from it. But the nature of farming is always going to be mistakes made or just things working against you with climate, environment and things. So it's just trying to adapt, and it has been a big learning curve, no doubt about it, but it's been quite invigorating to put that pressure on yourself to learn fast. Yeah.
Do you ever miss building, or are you quite happy with doing this?
I'm happy farming. I guess One of the things with building is you're working with other people all the time. So that's probably the thing that I miss about building, is that like camaraderie, I suppose, that you get in a sort of a building gang. But in saying that, on the farm, it doesn't really feel like work. Like putting on your tool belt as a builder felt like work to me.
And I did read that you have done the coast to coast race and done quite well.
Yeah, it seems like a previous life now, but probably for 10, maybe 12 years, that was my main passion, I suppose. So coast to coast and long ultra sort of runs like the Kepler, and I've done God's Own 4 times. And that was a big part of my life, and it's sort of not anymore. It's quite funny how I've just left it behind, but for a long time that was what I did.
What was your best placing for the coast to coast race?
So the one day I got 11th, and then the 2 day I got 2nd, were my best results in that. But yeah, for now it's sort of family and farming, and that's kind of what I've got time for.
That's your priority.
Yeah, exactly.
Here they come, Charlie. Are they going to go through the gate?
Now from where we are standing, Anna, what can we see around us?
So we're in the lane at the moment, really nice big wide lane. We've got Surrey Hills up to our east, and then down south the back of the farm it kind of goes up to our top point there at about 550 metres. Mount Peel down to the southwest, and then across to the west our neighbours at Walkery and Inverary Surrey Hills stations. And then if we swing around to the front, you look up the Ashburton Gorge towards Barossa, and then Mount Somers, which is bang straight up the lane with Mount Hutt on the right of that. It's got a bit of fresh snow on the top of it at the moment.
Why has Mitch's dog run all the way over into the paddock there?
She has a very strong kick out, they call it. Not that I'm a dog trialer or anything, so she takes a real wide berth when she goes to head a mob.
Yeah, that's smart. The sheep don't even know she's going to shift them.
Yes, hopefully she is going to shift them.
My sweep!
Did you train May up to do that?
Well, yeah, to an extent, but to an extent it's sort of like instinctual as well. Like, I mean, I guess you train them so that they have sides, so you can direct them which way you want to go. But I mean, moving stock just comes so naturally to these dogs that
They love it.
Yeah, they love it.
As we're talking, the mob of two tooths are moving towards us very quietly.
Yep. So May will be just following in behind. May sweep!
They're being shifted onto kale, which has grown incredibly well. We've just had so much rain through the summer.
It's about waist high.
Yeah. We're just chewing out this top part of the paddock first and then leave the lower stuff till later so that we don't get problems with runoff. There they go.
Gate.
Through the gate.
My gate.
Charlie knows some of the dog's calls, so every now and again you hear him saying, I think that was May sweep. What do we say when we want Rizzo to make some noise?
Speak up.
Speak up. Good man.
Look it.
Anna, coming back to the farm, to the family farm, must have felt so special.
Yes, yeah, it definitely did. Quite nostalgic. I think it was good to go away, for sure. I'd probably been away for half of my life and then came back. And, to not have your whole identity wrapped up in the farm, I think, was really important. But it's been awesome to be back and to be close to Mum and Dad whilst having Charlie. That's been probably the biggest bonus.
So you lease the farm off your folks?
Yes, yeah, lease it off Mum and Dad, and the way the lease works is we have a monthly payment for the rent of the land, and then the stock actually is on lease. So it's a pretty amazing setup. It just means that you don't have to come in and outlay this huge amount of money for buying stock. So it's a way that we could kind of get in and make it work, and very grateful to Mum and Dad for that, because it's meant that basically we came in, there's a certain number of stock on the bailment, and then at the end of your lease, which for us is a 5-year lease, you just leave the same number of stock, same quality when you go, but you pay to lease the stock rather than having this big outlay, and then also being subject to market changes for all the prices. So yeah, that's been amazing. Yeah, we've got about 2,700 ewes and I think 171 mixed age cows, as well as 32 heifers. Yeah.
So this year, will you make a good profit?
It's looking way more promising. Yeah, absolutely. And that first year, I guess we came in just with a big overdraft and bank loan for the stock and plant, and didn't really get ahead. Whereas hopefully this year we can kind of get through part of the year, at least a good chunk of the year, without having to go back and say hello to the bank manager.
And when you were down in central Otago, working as a shepherd, you got into photography, is that right?
Yeah, I guess it was. It was when I was down there. It was probably pretty random. Mitch had bought a camera to go hunting with because he loves hunting and goes down into the wapiti blocks in Fiordland. And then he decided it was way too heavy. And I said, I might take that on the autumn muster. So I started sharing some of the photos on social media and realised pretty quickly how much people just love seeing shots of the high country. So from there, I don't know, I just started taking it around the farm with me and started a wee page called Muster Anna Munro Photography, and then sharing pictures of day-to-day farm life. It probably became a bit of a diary in some ways, and a way to share some of the good news about farming. And then every time if I go on a muster, I'll take it with me and share some of those photos as well.
And you sell your photographs, don't you?
Yes. I guess it's a bonus if I sell something, but I sell prints, so canvas prints and fine art prints, and have had a couple of exhibitions up in the likes of Cardrona Distillery. I've got some photos up in the Terrace store and the local Woodbury store in Mount Somers. Yeah, and I don't know, I want to share how beautiful our country is and how great rural life is.
Have you got a favourite photograph that you've taken over the years?
Maybe. When I was up on the lake here in Muster one time, I was on this beat where I was taking these sheep around the face, and the photo is called Blue and Gold, and it's basically these gorgeous tussock hills of gold with blue in the background as you sweep back to the Rakaia, and then this tiny little string of merino sheep wandering around the face of the hill.
For our listeners who'd like to see that, could we put that on Country Life's RNZ webpage?
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah.
And another one of your passions is music.
Yeah. I think it was just my thing growing up, and it's always been something to bring me a lot of joy.
What sort of music do you like to do?
Well, I play the piano, and I'm in a band. There's two of us, Abby McKenzie and I, on piano and guitar and singing, and then Pete Wilkinson on drums. And we play, I don't know, covers with a bit of a country vibe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you be able to play something now, out here on the farm?
I guess so. Took my love and I took it down. Climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, hello, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life?
And that was Anna Munro there singing Landslide by Stevie Nicks. Cosmo was also talking to Mitch Munro at the couple's hill country farm near Mount Somers in Canterbury. To see some of Anna's photos, and ones Cosmo took on the day, go to the RNZ website rnz.co.nz/countrylife.